We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 to break down. They just released a prequel story that's more of an Avengers 4 story than it is a Captain Marvel story, but they're branding it Captain Marvel because it's all about introducing her character. The upside of that being, it gives us some more clues about when they're going to drop the Avengers 4 trailer. So just a whole bunch of stuff to break down. We'll do a new giveaway for IMAX gift certificates. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a Marvel-related comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. The prequel story revolves mostly around what's going on with Nick Fury in the events leading up to Infinity War: The Snap and him setting off that super advanced space pager to get Captain Marvel's ass back to Earth. So they follow the events of the last couple of big Avengers movies and their conflicts, including Civil War, through Nick Fury's perspective as he's talking to Maria Hill, and they're sort of gauging everything from behind the scenes, keeping tabs on the really big plans and the reasons why they bring the Avengers together. Like, you get a teaser for that at the beginning, and they used it as a tagline when they were marketing Infinity War, bringing together a group of remarkable people to see if we could be something more. As they move into the Civil War period, you see Nick Fury's perspective, which we did not get. Like, he just showed up at the end of Infinity War, like he's been doing a whole bunch of stuff and we have no idea what. So while he's watching all this footage of the Avengers going to town on each other at the big airport battle, he says to Maria Hill, "The Accords might be handy for keeping tabs on enhanced individuals in the field, but regulating them seems like a bit of a political pipe dream. Plus, I don't see Thor signing on the dotted line if he ever shows up again." Remember, the whole reason why Thor left was to investigate his visions that he had. There's actually a deleted scene for that. I'll include it in an upcoming video. But Maria Hill and Nick Fury just talk about what's going to happen when they need the Avengers to come back together, because they're sensing some bigger cosmic threat down the road. Then as Nick Fury gets ready to take off to try and track down Captain America, he says, "It's true that they're a group of remarkable people, more than I could have hoped for in a team. All the good they've done, I still need them to be something more." So that's obviously teeing up Avengers 4, like them becoming that something more that was originally promised. Maria Hill, playing the cynic, says, "I've heard something about heroes. Never meet them. They'll only let you down." And then Nick Fury, sort of teeing up Captain Marvel, says, "Not all of them." She says, "You got one you haven't called yet? Might be helpful to have a backup plan in case the worst should ever come." He responds by saying, "Nah, if we do our job right, we'll never be in a position of having to call her. Make sure you keep an eye on the raft. I got a feeling our guys are going to need a little assist in kicking the door open." Just another way of letting you know that Nick Fury and Maria Hill helped Captain America bust everybody out of the raft at the end of Civil War. So it wasn't him doing all that stuff by himself. So while all the dust from Civil War and the Sokovia Accords are still settling, Nick Fury goes off the grid officially. Months later, we pick up with Captain America's Secret Avengers trying to track down a bunch of Chitauri stolen weapons on the black market. Nick Fury comes to help out, clean up. Captain America is kind of surprised that he's there, like, "What are you doing here? Normally we talk through intermediaries." So even though he hasn't been talking to Iron Man during this period, it does let you know that he's been talking to other Avengers-associated people like Nick Fury. He tries to explain to him that something big is coming, and Cap is just like, "Look, I gave Tony a phone. If he needs me, he can call me." So it's just the Cap side of that Iron Man scene when he was in the Sanctum trying to explain when he pulled the flip phone out why he is not talking to Captain America. Still pre-Infinity War, you go back to the Avengers base, Tony's testing out his new bleeding edge armor, trying to see its response time. So he just has Friday blast him with energy weapons and has the suit deploy immediately. So you have to imagine him walking around with his new arc reactor in the nano housing, so even if he didn't tell it to activate and he got kicked out of a window or something, it would activate and save him. A lot of this is just set up for his battle on Titan with Thanos, like he tests out all the energy weapons, it works great. Let's test structural integrity. This is just a reference to Thanos throwing the moon at him, but you have to imagine that these things are striking him with the force that Thanos was striking him with. Maria Hill does the same thing with Iron Man that Nick Fury was doing with Captain America, trying to get tabs on them, getting them to bridge the gap, like, "Look, we need to make this all water under the bridge, the Avengers need to come back together." They also have a funny joke about her working for him at one point. Remember after Winter Soldier, after S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed, she was looking for a new job and she went to Stark Industries. So for a brief period, it seemed like she did work for him. He references Captain America's flip phone. She actually picks it up and looks at it briefly, then comments about Vision turning his transponder off, which they paid off during Infinity War. It was when he was spending time with Scarlet Witch, because this is still a West Side story. Like, he's still Team Iron Man working for the legit Avengers, and then you have Scarlet Witch that's with Captain America's Secret Avengers. So they were sort of running off to spend time together every once in a while. Then they pick up in that post-credit scene where they're driving through town and all of a sudden they just sense everybody starting to disappear. So Nick Fury flips out, grabs the pager, then disappears himself after dropping that really big F-bomb. This is just part 1. There'll be a part 2 coming sometime soon, so I'll do a breakdown of that as soon as it drops. But the really cool thing about this prequel comic is that there was an advertisement in the back for another Avengers 4 prequel story that's going to release December 5th. What is important about that date? If you guys don't remember, that is 1 week after the Infinity War trailer was released last year. And why would they market an official Avengers 4 prequel story before releasing the Avengers 4 trailer? So just big theory that we're going to get that trailer sometime around Thanksgiving. It could either be the week of Thanksgiving or it could be the week after. Right now, I'm just tentatively planning for Tuesday, November 26th. So a couple weeks away, closer than you think. And of course, I'll do a breakdown of that prequel story. But there's also another new synopsis on the Japanese Captain Marvel poster, which is pretty telling. It gives you a much better idea what the plot is about. So the text on the poster translates to Lost Past, Memories Trapped, Powers Gained, Is This Me? ? The story before the Avengers. The reason why they probably put the story before the Avengers on the poster is just to remind you that this is the setup that she'll be in Avengers 4. They want to sort of market both films at the same time. It's like, oh wow, we have this cool thing that's coming up, and it's going to be a really big deal in Avengers 4, so don't forget about that movie too. The idea that she has a lost past and her memories have been trapped also feeds into the idea of gaslighting, as it seems like they're teasing in the movie. Like, they won't tell you who Jude Law's character is. For a while, we thought he was playing Mar-Vell, the original version of Captain Marvel. There are a lot of people that have thought that he could be playing Jan Rog. Because what if she gets her powers? I've already done a video about the way that they've changed her character and how her powers work, so I'll link that at the end of this. But imagine she gets her powers in this accident here. Then, for some reason, she has a bit of amnesia. What if Jude Law is there? What if he just gaslights her, tells her that she's part of Star Force, and takes her back to the Kree homeworld, and she forgets all about her life on Earth? And then he uses this memory device to sort of mess with her even more, until she comes back to planet Earth, chasing after the Skrulls, runs into Nick Fury, and whatever buried memories that she has starts to surface, and she realizes what's been going on this whole time. Like, wait a minute, you've been gaslighting me for years now. And if you're not familiar with the term gaslighting, it just means you're manipulating someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. So imagine a version of events where Jude Law is trying to get Captain Marvel to question whether or not she actually really did live on Earth. Like, no, that's not real. They're lying to you. You've been Kree this whole time, even though we see her as a child on the beach here on planet Earth. So just remember that Marvel just changed her backstory. They simplified it quite a bit. Now her mother is fully Kree. I already done a video about that, so I'll link it at the end of this. But the big reason for the change is because they didn't want it to feel like Green Lantern, where someone comes from outer space, gives her her powers, and then she goes off with them as sort of a backup character. It's a version of events that they can use that will bypass the male version of Captain Marvel if they chose to do that. They could still include him in the movie in some way, but unless they're combining the Mar-Vell character with like the Jan Rog character, and that's who Jude Law is, he's either not in the movie or Jude Law really is playing him and he's the straight up villain, which would also be a really huge retcon for him in the comics. And I don't know that they would do that, so he might just be lying about who he is and he really is someone else, say like Jan Rog. But important things to remember, we are now officially on Avengers 4 trailer watch. If we get any more news about when that's going to drop officially, I will totally do a video about it, no worries. Congratulations, Angelica Barbosa. You're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Click here for my Stan Lee tribute video, and click here to learn about Captain Marvel's brand new origin story in the Marvel Universe. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.